Peter, nice to meet you. You're the club chaplain here. Can you explain your role a little for us?
Well, it's pastoral role mainly. I'm not here to convert everybody, although I do believe in what I believe in passionately, and it has been something that has influenced other people over the years. But the main role is just to be here for members of staff, not just the playing staff. So every member of staff, I try to make sure when I come into the club on a Thursday, I try to make sure that I see every single member of staff. And initially just to build relationship, to inquire as to how they are, how their families are, etc, etc. So that if they've got an issue in their lives and they need somebody to talk to, the bridges are being built so they can do that. And as I said before, I emphasise it is for players and the staff, coaching staff, but it is for everybody that works around the club, and it's even spread beyond that now. So I have I do pastoral visits even to some supporters who've been through some rough times.
Well, that's good to hear. You've been here over 20 years now, I think. How did the role come about originally?
Oh, that's fascinating. So the previous chaplain was a guy called Charlie, and obviously I used to call him Charlie Chaplin, and he was leaving the area. I just moved into the area to Walgreen Baptist Church, and when he was leaving he came to see me and said, I need somebody to take over the chaplaincy role, I think you're the right person for it. And my first reaction was, I'm sorry, I'm too busy. If I was going to do something like that, I'd want to do it wholeheartedly, and I don't really feel that I could give the quality of time, the amount of time that is needed for something like that. So I said no. I said no the second time he came to me and said, I can't think of anybody else who would do the job as well as I think you might do it. And the third time he came to me, after I'd said no twice, and then said, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll talk to my church, see how they feel about it, and I'll maybe ask if I can just try it for a month, see how it works, see how the demands of it and how much that impinges on my ministry time, my family time. So a month's notice and I'm still here 20 odd years later.
It must have worked then.
Yeah.
You must be pleased with it. So we were talking earlier, you're not a local, are you, originally?
No, not from Middlesbrough, and was a Middlesbrough fan for all my childhood. I used to go and watch the games in the days where you could walk right around the ground and change goals depending on which way the team was kicking. And there used to be a boys' end in those days where you could just pay a bob and get in the boys' end, and again there was like a pen, but most of the boys just used to go into the pen, then climb over the wall and then get access all over the ground. So yeah, from Middlesbrough, but I've travelled around. We've lived in various places. So lived in the beautiful countryside of North Yorkshire in Pickering and Thornton-le-Dale. Lived in Loughborough for a while. Lived in Lancashire. Wash your mouth out with soap and water.
Big time.
For a while. But ended up in Barnsley, which is where I got involved in the club. And as we were talking earlier, there's just a very special uniqueness about Barnsley that gets into your heart that you can't shake off. And even though I now live in Doncaster, you know, Barnsley is the place I would choose to live. If other things were being considered or weren't being considered, Barnsley would be the place I would choose to live.
So in terms of football here, we've got Oakwell behind us looking beautiful on this March day. What's your first memory of coming to Oakwell?
Oh, I can't remember who the game was against, but I came basically just as a fan with one of my daughters, and we came in the Ponty end. So that would be in probably round about 1993, 94. when we moved into the area, and I came a few times before I became chaplain, just because I enjoyed. My problem was I played football on a Saturday for a lot of years, and did when I came to Barnsley as well. So Saturday afternoons coming to Barnsley were very rare, but whenever I got the opportunity, I used to delight in coming and joining with the Ponty end and the regular fans.
You say you used to play football. Well, I think we've got a mutual acquaintance by the name of Bruce Dyer, who tells me, off the record, you were a very good striker at that time.
Yeah, I didn't play at a high level, so I played at semi-pro was the highest level I got to, and it wasn't for very long. Played it for Pickering Town. But yeah, I was prolific. I wasn't technically a good footballer, but I was clever and I was fit. And I used my head and I used my feet, and used to get roughly 30 goals a season, which, you know, at that level wasn't brilliant, but at any level I think I'm quite proud of.
Yeah. A lot more than I used to get, that's for sure. So, coming back to Oakwell and Barnsley, who was your favourite player in the 20 odd years you've been coming here?
Oh, that's an awful question.
If you had to pick one. And we'll leave Bruce out of it, because for obvious reasons.
Yeah, Bruce and Bobby are both really close friends, and you know they would come in the list certainly, just because of their attitude as well as their ability. They were both 100%ers. I've got a sneaking liking for Clint Marcel, and again, it was a personal friend. He used to come along to our church, and I knew him and Kathy and the family really closely. But it was his cheekiness on the pitch and off it, I think, that kind of attracted me to him. But there've been some John Henry I liked a lot. Again, the Middlesbrough connection, Paul Wilkinson. The two of them playing together. I've never been very good defensively, so mainly it would be people who would be strikers that would attract my attention. So yeah, I think I'd plump for Clint.
Oh, he's a good one to remember from that day in 1997. Just in that goal down there, if you remember.
Well, I've got some backstories to that, which again is quite fascinating, really. In terms, the fascinating that season. When we got promotion to Premier League was incredible for all sorts of reasons. I don't know whether many people remember, but I'd organised a prayer rally at the football club. The previous year, Barnsley had been designated the worst town in Britain, according to the stats, for things like teenage pregnancy, alcoholism, drugs, vandalism, etc, etc, etc. And I felt that as a church in the town we needed to do something about that, and what's our speciality? Praying. So I'd actually organised with Michael Spinks, the club secretary, for us at the end of the season to use what used to be called the Aura Stand, which actually means pray in Spanish, to hold a prayer rally to pray for the town, to pray blessing on the town. We got halfway through the season and I was told we couldn't have the prayer rally because the team was doing so well and it was a playoff date. So I then said, well, I'll get the church to start praying that we won't end up in the playoffs.
And it worked.
And the rest, as they say, is history. We ended up having our prayer rally. We had nearly 2,000 people here praying for the town, which was quite incredible. The other backstory is that both Paul Wilkinson and Clint Marcel, who scored the winning goals against Bradford City, got us promoted, clinched promotion to the Premier League. 6 weeks out, were both severely injured. Now I've known Paul and Clint really well personally, And I do believe in miracles. So I said to each of them, can I pray for you? And I prayed with both of them individually, and they both got well enough to play in the games running up to the end of the season, and fascinatingly scored the goals that clinched promotion for us. So that's a story most people don't know. Now it's public.
Divine intervention.
Well, I just love this town, and I think, you know, there's a phrase in the Bible before Jesus was born when they prophesied that something special would come out of Nazareth, which was a kind of place like Barnsley. It was looked down on by everybody else, and that's where Jesus came from. And I think people say that about Barnsley. Can any good thing come out of Barnsley? Well, yes. You know,
plenty does and plenty has. Yeah,
it has, it does, and on that occasion, particularly, it did. And that season, I think, in the Premier League, was very special to me, for more than just the football.
Oh, that's good. I know, for you personally, are heavily involved with Reds in the Community as a project. I believe you're a charity director, is that right?
I'm a trustee, yes.
Yeah, trustee or whatever. Yeah. How important is that to the community?
Well, I think it's really important to the community. I think it's important to the club. I think it probably best expresses the intentions of the Reverend Preda, who established the club, and he did it in order to take young people who were caught up in negative activities that were affecting not only themselves but the community, and providing something really positive
for them. Positive spin on it.
To put their energies into, and so I think Reds in the Community, and this is why I love Reds in the Community, because that's their intention today. That it hasn't changed. So we carry within ourselves the initial heritage of the football club, in terms of wanting to provide an environment where a lot of people, some of them who are likely to get into negative activities that damage them, are engaged in positive practices and given an opportunity to develop in a more positive way. I love the social inclusion nature of it as well, and the fact that, you know, we do a lot for people with disabilities. You know, we do a lot, well, just general social inclusion, I think, creates social cohesion in the town. So we try our best to live up to those initial principles that were invested in the club in the first place. I think
it's right, because I think, you know, when originally in 1887 Tiverton Preda started the club at St Peter's Church just up the road, it was all about teamwork and a club. And those principles hold now, don't they?
Oh, very much so. And I think we have a great team at Reds in the Community. They're some really lovely people. Unfortunately, because they're a charity, and they're not officially part of the football club, sometimes their work is not recognised in the way that it should be, and I just want to shine a light on that and say they do some fabulous work.
Well, that's good to hear. I know from personal experience what they do, so that's great. One final thing, will the Reds get promoted this season?
Well, I've just been talking to some of the boys in the changing room, and I don't want to put the kibosh on it, but I have the same feeling this year as I had in the year that we got promotion to the Premier League, in terms of the way the team are playing on the pitch, the confidence that they're playing with. So we went down to 10 men last Saturday and played better with 10 men. We seem to have developed, we lost Kiefer Moore, we seem to have developed that ability to overcome obstacles, challenges, whatever's thrown our way. We've got that ability to overcome it.
It's the mental attitude, if you like, which we seem to
It's a lot about mentality.
Which we did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know,
Belief, confidence.
Yeah.
But also that ability to overcome obstacles. Because again, whenever you're involved in football, you know, you get players sent off. Every team will have that. They'll have to cope with that. They get injuries. Every team at the top will have to cope with that as they run into the season. You need to have that tenacity to be able to overcome the obstacles. Actually, there's almost, again, in me, and I sense it in the club, is I actually enjoy overcoming obstacles. And I sense that there's almost
it's like
that,
a challenge, isn't it?
yeah, there's almost that spirit in the team at the moment, like, well, just
whatever they throw at us,
throw what you can at
that's
us,
it, yeah.
and we'll overcome it. We'll take it on. We'll look it in the face and we'll beat it. And that's the feeling I'm getting. Like I said, don't want to put the kibosh on
No,
it.
that's fine. I'll just keep praying, Peter, that's all I can say. Peter, it's been a pleasure to meet you, and thanks for your time today.
Thank you, it's a real pleasure.